Have you ever heard your own voice come out too sharp, too fast, and thought, who is that? Maybe it's a small thing. Someone leaves a dish in the sink. A text goes unanswered. A coworker misses a tiny detail, and suddenly the words hit like a slap. You see their face. You feel the drop in your stomach. You're not a cruel person, so why does that happen? Why do you keep snapping for no reason? Viktor Frankl would say, your anger isn't a monster living inside you. It's a signal, a flare fired into a night sky. It's telling you something is off, something about meaning, not just mood. Let's walk into that together, with honesty and without shame. Picture this. It's late. You're tired. You open the fridge empty. You planned to eat, to unwind. Now you're holding a cold handle and an empty plan. Your chest tightens. You bark at the nearest person. That's the surface. But underneath, something else is happening. In Frankl's language, the will to meaning, your deep drive to live for what matters, has been ignored or blocked. When that drive can't find air, it doesn't just go quiet. It turns into restlessness, boredom, addiction, and yes, aggression. Aggression is often meaning in disguise. The outburst is a clumsy attempt to protect a value that feels threatened. Respect, fairness, rest, freedom, being seen. If you only try to suppress the anger, you miss the message. If you listen to it correctly, calmly, you can translate it into purpose. So ask this, right in the heat of it, what value of mine just got crossed? It's a small, humane question. You're not excusing your snap, you're decoding it. Maybe you snapped because your time felt disrespected. Maybe you value competence and someone's carelessness spilled into your world. Maybe you value intimacy and that silence felt like abandonment. Once you name the value, the picture changes. You go from attacking a person to addressing a principle. Frankl lived through horrors that annihilated ordinary patience. He didn't preach naive calm. He claimed something very different. Even when you cannot change a situation, you are free to choose your attitude toward it. That freedom is not a slogan, it's a muscle. You and I can strengthen it in small, ordinary encounters, long before the big storms arrive. Here's a simple practice I use and give to clients: a 90-second meaning gap. The moment you feel the heat rise and your voice tilt, do nothing for 60 to 90 seconds. You can turn away. Breathe with your jaw unclenched. But here's the Frankl twist. Don't count breaths to escape your feelings. Ask one focusing question. What would be meaningful here? Not what would make me win. Not what would make me right. What would be meaningful, truer to the person I want to be? Sometimes the answer is firm. Set a boundary. End the call. Say, I'm not ready to agree. Sometimes the answer is soft. Seek to understand first. Ask a curious question instead of a cutting remark. Either way, you're not suppressing anger. You're recruiting it. You're putting it to work for the value it was yelling about. Frankl had a technique called dereflection. When you stare at a symptom, your anger, you feed it. You become hyper-aware of your rising pulse, your reputation, how they're seeing you, and boom, you explode. Dereflection is a kind of gentle pivot. You move your attention from the symptom to the purpose beyond you. In that kitchen, dereflection might look like this. Instead of thinking, I can't believe I'm doing this again, you think, what is the next small act of care that would honor my value of rest? Maybe it's scheduling a grocery delivery instead of blaming. Maybe it's saying, I'm exhausted. Can we order in and talk about a better system tomorrow? The anger dissolves because it has been reassigned. You can go further. Frankl's paradoxical intention sounds fancy, but it's sneakily practical. It means you disarm a compulsive reaction by leaning into it with humor and choice. When you notice the first spark jaw tightening, shoulders rising, you whisper to yourself, "Excellent. This is my chance to practice a gentle reply under pressure. Let me do it so slowly it would annoy even a monk." You make a game of patience. You exaggerate the calm. The very act of choosing how you will respond exposes the truth. You are not a fuse, you are a person. If this sounds like it minimizes real hurt, it doesn't. Some anger is protective and justified. If you are being mistreated, the most meaningful act may be a clear, non-negotiable boundary or a safe exit. Frankl never said suffering itself is good. He said meaning can still be found when suffering cannot be avoided. The difference is everything. Let's talk about what your anger might be protecting. Choose one of these words that lights up when you say it. Respect, time, truth, loyalty, fairness, peace, autonomy, care. Keep it in your pocket. The next time you feel the surge, name it quietly. This is about fairness. This is about care. Then ask, what is one meaningful, non-violent sentence I can say right now that protects that value? Like, I want to understand your point, but talking over me isn't okay. Or, I care about you, and I'm too triggered to be kind. Right now let's pause and pick this up at 3. Notice the structure. You state a value. You pick one clear request or boundary. You leave dignity on the table for both people. Anger, translated. I want to give you a second tool, the redirect. Anger carries energy. If you don't give it a job, it will create one, usually a bad one. So give it a task worthy of its force. Build something small that repairs what the anger is about. If you value order, don't yell at the mess. Start a 2-minute reset routine and invite others into it. If you value fairness at work, draft a short, respectful proposal for a better workflow. If you value being seen in your relationship, craft a weekly check-in with 3 questions. What went well? What felt off? What's one thing we can improve this week? You are not waiting for calm. You are turning heat into light. Frankl said meaning is discovered in 3 ways: through creative work, through encounters of love and beauty, and through the attitude we choose toward unavoidable suffering. Put your anger into those channels. Create something that repairs. Experience something that softens a walk under trees after an argument, a piece of music that dissolves your clenched fists. And when nothing can be changed, yet a delay, a sick parent, a bureaucracy that won't move, choose an attitude that preserves your dignity. That choice is never small. Here's a hard truth you might not want to hear, but it will free you. Snapping isn't about them, not at first. It's about a gap between what you value and how you're living. That gap hurts. You can numb it, or you can listen, translate, and bridge it. One meaningful decision at a time. Frankl once imagined himself in the worst conditions, giving a lecture after the war about the psychology of the camps. He turned his present pain into future meaning. It wasn't fantasy, it was a spiritual stance. You can borrow that in the smallest domestic fight. Imagine the story your wiser self would tell about this moment a year from now. Would they say, "This was the night I finally told the truth without cruelty. This was the day I stopped making my partner guess my needs. This was the meeting where I said, no more last-minute chaos, and then I helped build a better process." And if you already snapped today, there's still meaning to find. Guilt can be a compass when it points toward repair. Say, "I'm sorry for how I spoke. The value underneath respect isn't negotiable for me. I want to try again." That apology is not groveling. It's leadership. Let's test this with a scenario. You get a terse email from a manager. "Need this now." No greeting, no context. Your stomach drops. You type, "Not my problem, ask earlier next time." Then you remember your pocket value, fairness. You open the 90-second gap. What would be meaningful here? A fair process. A calm boundary. You write, "I'm on it, and will deliver by 3 p.m. For future requests, can we set a 24-hour lead time so the work stays high quality?" You protect your value without burning the bridge. You prove to yourself that your anger can speak an intelligent language. If you've been living on a short fuse for a while, here's a 7-day experiment. Keep a tiny anger log. Nothing elaborate. 3 lines a day. Trigger, value, choice. Trigger, signal. Got missed, value, respect. Choice, I paused, stated the value, and asked for what I needed. Or, trigger, messy apartment, value, peace. Choice, I cleaned for 5 minutes, then asked for a shared reset after dinner. After a week you'll see patterns. You'll also see small wins that build self-respect. Midway check-in. Quick question. Which value does your anger most often try to protect? Respect, fairness, time, or something else? Drop it in the comments. Your words might help someone name their own. And if this is helping you translate anger into purpose, tap like so it reaches the people who need it, and subscribe for more Frankl-grounded tools you can actually use. Let's talk about the fear under anger. Many of us snap because we're afraid of being invisible. We speak louder because we don't trust that a measured voice will be heard. Frankl would ask, in whose eyes are you trying to exist right now? And is there a more meaningful audience? Sometimes the most meaningful witness is your own conscience. Sometimes it's the person in front of you. And sometimes it's a value itself. Truth, kindness, justice. When you speak to a value, your tone changes. You're no longer performing dominance. You're serving a principle. A word on relationships. If your home has become a minefield of quick temper and walking on eggshells, bring a ritual that interrupts the pattern. Set a weekly 10-minute check-in with 3 sentences each. 1. I appreciated when you. 2. I felt hurt when. 3. This week I'll try. Keep it short. Keep it specific. Bring a glass of water. No phones. No always or never. You are practicing meaning through love, the second of Frankl's pathways. Your anger will still visit, but it won't be the only voice in the room. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is a meaningful no. If a friend only calls when they need rescuing, the anger that surges is telling you, value boundaries. Try this line, I care about you. I can't do this today. Let's talk about a plan that works for both of us. That is not coldness. That is meaning with a spine. What about work cultures that reward urgency, theater, and punish calm? Here, anger often shows up as sarcasm and quiet contempt. You don't have to swallow that poison. Use the redirect. Pick one micro-process each week to improve. Document it. Share it. Ask for a 15-minute slot to present your fix. You will turn frustration into a trail of value, and value is hard to ignore. Let's bring in the third pathway, attitude, in unavoidable suffering. If you're caregiving for someone who is declining, or you're fighting your own illness, anger may arrive because the situation is unfair and can't be fixed quickly. Here, meaning isn't found by building or negotiating. It's found by the stance you take. A mantra helps. Something like, I can't control the storm, but I can control my kindness. Or, today, I choose patience for 15 minutes at a time. 15 minutes is winnable. It's also how you train the muscle of freedom. There will be days you fail. There will be moments where the snap gets out before the sense. Remember Frankl's phrase, the defiant power of the human spirit. Defiance here doesn't mean pride. It means, despite the mess, I still get to decide what kind of person I'm becoming. Your next choice counts more than your last mistake. If you want a morning ritual to anchor this, try the 3-card practice. Write 3 small cards and keep them where you'll see them. Card 1. Today I will protect this value, _. Card 2. Today I will serve this person, _. Card 3. Today I will practice this attitude under stress, _. Fill them fresh each day. You're shaping your day toward meaning before the first trigger arrives. At night, close the loop. Frankl encouraged an honest dialogue with your conscience. Ask, where did I let anger speak for me? Where did I translate it into meaning? Apologize where needed. Celebrate where you chose well. Go to sleep with your values louder than your shame. One last story. A man wrote to me, I keep exploding at my teenage son. Messes, missed curfew, rolling eyes. I sound like my father and I hate it. We worked with 2 values, respect and responsibility. He pre-committed a sentence for moments of heat. I respect you. I'm not willing to yell. We'll talk at 8 tomorrow. Then he used the redirect. They built a 15-minute Sunday reset with music, laundry, lunch plan, and a quick calendar check. Fewer fights, more shoulder-to-shoulder time. The anger didn't vanish. It matured. That's the point. You're not trying to kill your anger. It's too important to kill. You're trying to educate it. To let it guard what actually matters, without harming what matters. Moya, relationships, your dignity, your peace. So the next time your voice rises and your heart drums, imagine that flare in the night sky. Read it, name the value, take the 90-second gap, speak one meaningful sentence, redirect the energy into a tiny repair. And if you fail, repair the rupture and try again. You will watch your fuse turn into a lantern still bright, still honest, but made for guiding, not burning. Frankl believed life asks us questions. Every hour, every conflict, every flash of anger is life asking, who are you, here? You don't need the perfect answer. You need the next meaningful one. That's enough to change the texture of your day and, over time, the shape of your life. If you're ready, pick your pocket value now. Put it in your notes. Share it with someone you trust. Then watch how your anger, once an enemy, becomes an ally that points you back to who you are.